years later.
Yes.
And 4 cops just beat the you-know-what out of him.
Yes.
On video.
On video. That was really the first one.
And got acquitted.
Yes.
All 4 got acquitted, and it led to riots here in Los Angeles. We're sitting on the west side of Los Angeles, not too far from here. 63 people were left dead by those riots post-Rodney King verdict. 2,300 people were injured. More than 12,000 people were arrested, and more than $1 billion worth of damage was done 30 years ago to this city because of that. And it was necessary that that happened. I get it. I don't love it. I don't endorse it, but it needed to happen. And here we went, and we don't have enough show. We could spend the rest of our show talking about all the incidents that have happened, starting with the one that I first talked about on TV, which was Trayvon Martin.
Right.
And then here we went.
Right.
And it's still going because Dante Wright just happened. Same city, same area.
Right.
Okay, so I understand what you say about it's no time to celebrate. And I always hesitate on television talking about race because there are no absolutes. There's still gray area when we talk about race. But I'm not talking about celebrating yesterday as in let's party until the sun comes up. I'm talking about just a little bit of satisfaction that the right thing finally got done.
Right.
And bigger picture, you know, you can say pebble in ocean. I'm going to say at least a boulder got thrown in the ocean. And remember, a boulder in the ocean is still not much.
Right.
Okay? A pebble's a lot less, but it felt more boulderish into the ocean to me, in that there was at least some splash that's going to splash across this country to send what I believe is still a powerful message to all the potentially racist cops who are still employed because they got hired before there was any Black Lives Matter. And you know and I know they're still out there.
Of course.
Closet racists, or maybe they're out of the closet racists. And they're still a threat to the Black community and to the kids who might get pulled over. And I'm just hoping that a deeper, more powerful message got sent yesterday. This will not be acceptable anymore.
Right.
There, as LeBron tweeted, accountability.
Skip, I think that's all we've ever wanted.
Yeah.
If a Black person does something, they're going to be held accountable.
Yeah.
You know, you rob a bank, you hold up a liquor store, you shoot someone, and I get it. But Skip, the people are like, well, what about that Black on Black crime? Black citizens of Chicago are not sworn to an oath to protect and serve. So therefore, you can't equate a police officer killing a Black unarmed person to a Black civilian shooting another Black civilian. But it's Black kill Blacks, white kill whites, Asian kill Asian. You hunt, Skip, in the community. That's why lions eat wildebeest.
Yeah.
They don't eat penguins.
Yeah.
They don't eat seals because that's not what's in their proximity. They eat what's in their proximity. You kill what's in your proximity. So for me, Skip, until I see changes at the state level, in which the way police do business, then I'll say, you know what, Skip, you're right. That when we talked about the George Floyd, you say maybe this was the boulder in the ocean, and we saw the rippling of it. Then, and at the federal level, when we see changes, wholesale changes with the way the police interact with us in our communities, then I'm going to agree with you. Then I'm going to celebrate and says, and maybe Black men and women won't have to have the conversation that our white counterparts never have to have with their kids. Never have to say, make sure you make no sudden movement. Make sure you put 2 hands or put your hands out the window. Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Conversations that we have that our counterparts never have to have.
Got it. So you and I on a daily basis sit across from each other and we debate sports.
Yes.
And yet, the sports world had a lot to do with what happened yesterday.
Absolutely.
All the powerful voices, starting with LeBron James in the sports world, had impact on that jury yesterday. Foremost, Colin Kaepernick had impact on that jury. He professionally died for this cause. He gave up his chosen profession, his dream come true of playing quarterback in the National Football League. He gave it up to protest just this.
Correct.
The killing by white cops of unarmed Black women and men. that has gone on for years and years, gone on for far too long. And Colin finally said, enough.
Enough.
I'm going to first sit, not stand up for it. I'm going to sit down for it. And then he knelt for it. And he lost his job because of it. And it was impactful. And the ripples from that are going to be felt for years and years. And I wanted to thank him publicly for what he sacrificed for that to happen, because you know it started right there.
It did.
Black Lives Matter was already a movement, obviously, but it fed off that.
Right.
It was fueled by what Colin Kaepernick did. A quarterback in the world of sports can have that much impact on real life. And this is about the realest life that we ever talk about.
Yeah, sometimes, Skip, a movement can be in place. Dr. King had his movement. The civil rights movement was going strong late 50s, early 60s, but it gained the traction that it absolutely needed when they killed those two white, those clergymen from up north. When they came down, they're like, hold on, wait, this is a new ball game now. Skip, it was so outrageous. I find it, I don't know if I want to use the word ironic, because Colin Kaepernick took a knee to protest police brutality and the unequal treatment of people of color, minorities in America. The very knee that that Chauvin kneeled on this man's neck for 10 minutes. He was so, and you know, they tried to give you all this, Skip, but the crowd was angry. He had his hands in his pocket. If you feel a threat, I promise you, I don't know how many people have ever been in a fight, but if you feel threatened, you don't put your hands in your pocket. You at attention. He had his hands in his pocket. He's looking around. He ain't worried about no threat. He's like, I'm in charge. There's nothing you can do. I'm the judge. I'm the jury. I'm God. In this moment, I'm God. Because I can do something that nobody else can do at this very moment. I can take your life. And the jury, they looked at that, Skip. But Skip, if you go to, look, it's not that. As one of the prosecuting attorneys said, it's all about common sense. About common sense. The man had been dead for 4 minutes. One of the police officers said, we need to turn him on the side. No, we're going to leave him right here. Even when the EMT arrived, he still had his knee on the man's neck, Skip, and they didn't render aid until after the fact. Pulmonologist said he had been dead for 4 minutes. Coming back from that. So it was just common sense, Skip, the accountability, and that's all we've ever wanted. Somebody commits an act, hold them accountable like you would a normal person. That's it.
So I don't want to be rose-colored glasses today. I don't want to be absurdly over-the-top hopeful here, but can I just say I'm a little hopeful that this is a watershed moment? I told you during Black Lives Matter protests, as the vestiges and remnants of racism came down one after another, I'm talking about the public symbols of racism, the statues, any of those sort of racist symbols from the Civil War days, the South shall rise again days. I watched night after night on television the protesters march, and it just seemed to my eye that there were at least as many white kids as black people. And I know they're mostly kids, some older white people, but Stan Van Gundy said yesterday that his 20-something-year-old kids are fully engaged in Black Lives Matter. I just think that's hopeful, because I do think the kids today, thanks to the passing of George Floyd, the sacrifice he had to make for this, can't get him back, but at least it happened, and it has lasting impact. He will go down in history. Colin Kaepernick has gone down in history, obviously. And I believe that there are generations now coming up of white kids who did get woke, maybe starting with this video that we saw of this murder.
But Skip, when we really break it down and we go back, this has been going on, let's say the civil rights movement started in the 60s, so we're 60 years past that. What's actually changed besides camera quality?
Oh, that's changed,
That's it. We still, Skip, the very thing that Dr. King and so many had given their lives for in the 60s, and people fought for in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, here we are, 60 years later, and we're still fighting. And we're going to say, you know what, maybe, and I'm sure this is...
What's changed to me, and this is a white perspective, is that so many white people are now receptive to what you're talking about who weren't in Dr. King's day.
I appreciate them being receptive, Skip, but now let's put some pressure on people that we've sent to state and
Agreed.
federal and the national level to enact change
Totally
in the
agree.
laws, in the rules.
It has to become tangible. It has to become,
yes.
I got it.
But to say it, because I hear a lot of, Skip, this is what we know. I've never seen so many people quote Dr. King as they do now. And when he was alive, he was the most hated man in the world, 10 times. It wasn't even close. Nobody else was close to Dr. King. And the very people that spoke out against him and basically was responsible for him taking his life, quote him on a daily basis. But they used that. They used Dr. King's quotes to try to keep, Skip, that power. And once you have it, it's hard for you to let it go. The police have been doing business like this for such a long time, Skip, and the union, they're not going to want to let it go. They're going to fight you tooth and nail. But we can't be deterred by them wanting to hold on to it